Every game you've ever loved has one thing in common. Something between you and the final credits. Tonight is about the bastards that almost won. What's up? This is BreakmanX, and welcome to the game show on April 29th, 2026. How's it going, Jack?
Going all right. I finally got the big old Band-Aid off my finger, and now I just have this really cool scar.
Scars. Nice. And Jess, how are you doing this evening?
You know, I'm hanging in there. It's been a week. I've got about 2 weeks left of grad school, so everything is insanely crazy right now, but I'm surviving.
Congrats.
Aren't we all?
Yes.
Yeah.
We were all talking before the show. We got things we can't say, but it's not been a good day for all three of us. So we're looking forward to having a good evening on the show tonight. I know I'm excited. It's a fun topic.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention Fenris Wolf Retro and I are collaborating on a video, and he's going to be on the show on June 17th. And we've already it's been quite the tumultuous situation so far. We've had tornadoes, we've had weird product delays. My Nest isn't turning on, but also all the parts aren't in yet. Like when it arrived, it was not working. But this is my childhood NES that I opened Christmas 1988 that has not been used in like forever. So it's gonna be an adventure getting that thing to work. But yeah. So we'll see. It involves Australia.
Awesome. I mean, usually that's awesome.
All right, let's dive into the news.
Yeah, so it's been a while, so forgive me if any of this is old news, but I'm going to go ahead and say most of it anyway.
Do it.
So Pragmata, the new game from Capcom, has sold over 1 million copies already, which is awesome. New IP doing that well is pretty great. Capcom seems to be on a pretty good roll right now. I between Resident Evil 9, Monster Hunter, and Pragmata, everything's coming up Capcom right now, so it's pretty awesome to see. Have you guys gotten a chance to play it yet?
I have not, but I'm looking. We were just actually Jess and I were talking about looking forward to playing games here in a week or so. So I am looking forward to playing it.
Yeah, it's nice you guys get summers off.
I got a week. I'm teaching summer.
Oh, you are? Mm-hmm. Well, you get a week anyway.
I get a week, but that week is going to be game time.
My game times lately, I'll talk a little bit more about it, but my game time has basically been on a plane, and that's been about it lately.
Snakes on a plane, but it's Jack on a plane.
Yeah. Anyway, so next up, Echo the Dolphin Complete has been announced. It's gonna essentially be a re-release of the original 2 games for the Genesis, and it's also going to. It was unclear whether this was going to be part of the collection or if it's going to be a separate thing that's sold. I'm going to guess it's probably a separate thing, but they say it's going to also include a new contemporary game from the original's creators. So any Echo the Dolphin fans out there, or just exploratory undersea folks out there, there you go. Get a new Echo the Dolphin game pretty soon.
Under the sea.
I don't know. The game, like honestly, like the first Echo the Dolphin, I enjoyed just kind of playing around in that first area.
Yeah.
For hours. But once you actually got into the game, I got through like the first few screens, if you will, and then I kind of like just lost all. I won't say motivation, but I just kind of like, yeah, this is okay, but I'm gonna go play, I don't know, Tasmania or something.
Well, I remember it being a game I wanted to be good at, but just never quite understood what was happening. But I like the idea of it. I like the idea of being a dolphin and swimming with the dolphins and being underwater was fun. And I wish I was better at it.
Yeah. Yeah. And there was the, there was a Dreamcast version, Dreamcast release too. So
was there? I'm sure you're right.
I thought there was. If it wasn't released, they at least showed some gameplay. I swear I've seen a
I'm sure you're
Dreamcast
right.
version of it.
I'd never doubt you on Dreamcast.
Yeah. Anyway,
there was a release. Yep. August 15th, 2000. Echo the Dolphin.
Okay.
I should try it out.
I'm not losing my mind. It's
not for that reason anyway.
Yeah, it's not fine, but it's okay. Next up, a little bit of sad news. The game from Nagoshi Studio, Gang of Dragon, that has been shut down. This is the game from the creator of the Like a Dragon or Yakuza series. Nagoshi, his studio is closing after NetEase has pulled their funding. So the entire studio is out of work. I think from what I understand, they're trying to shop the game around to see if they can get somebody to pick it up. I will laugh my head off if Sega decides to pick it up. But this game looks pretty cool. It showed off at the Game Awards. Looked pretty cool. Looked like Yakuza, but with I can't think of the actor's name. But the guy from Last Train to Busan and a few other movies. He's it's a shame. NetEase pulled all their funding and it seemed like the game was on track to release sometime this year. So really, really kind of disappointing after what looked like a long development cycle for that thing.
Bummer.
Yeah.
It did look good.
Yeah. So, in other good news, Xbox Game Pass prices are dropping. Since Asha Sharma came in, I won't say she's making good moves, but she's at least making some moves that probably needed to be made. So Xbox Game Pass, the prices are dropping, I think, down to like $22 or $23 a month from $30 a month. But they also will no longer include Call of Duty games in their first year. So kind of makes sense. I mean, if you were pumping that much money into Game Pass just for the ability to play Call of Duty, I mean, I still think the math doesn't quite add up. And from some of the rumors I've heard, they're still looking at maybe doing some more piecemeal stuff with Game Pass. So like you can pick and choose what you want and what you don't want. We'll see what comes of that. But the main thing is just the price dropping in general is definitely good, but I would be interested. They must have crunched the numbers on the back end to kind of see, hey, if we drop Call of Duty off of this and the prices go back down, are we going to lose anybody subscribing to Game Pass just because they don't get Call of Duty as part of this? And I have to imagine that math they did not equal zero.
Math
was probably in their favor.
I mean, I have to say, as the resident Xbox fan, just kidding, as someone who thought she was not a good hire and did not like the initial situation, I think I might have been wrong. I mean, so far it's looking like I was incorrect because, and again, like Jack said, it's too early to really know. So I'm not going to jump out and say that she's amazing, but I think we do have to give her credit for what she's done so far. As someone who doesn't come from the gaming side, she came from the AI side. It seems like she's being very smart at looking at data, at looking at the audience, and delivering some good things. I mean, she ended the "This is Xbox" thing that everyone made fun of all the time. This is an Xbox. That's what it was. That new logo is pretty cool. The stuff that they've announced for their next system is, I think, pretty cool. I mean, it's really expensive, but I think it's basically going to be, translucent with PC stuff. And they're going to have some exclusivity. So I feel like she's listened. And maybe that's more than the previous group did.
Maybe. The one thing I'm kind of interested to see, like she still hasn't really made decisions. Like basically they're saying, hey, we're keeping all of our options open for what's going to happen. Like they haven't made any decisions. And
That's
to
true.
be honest, rightfully so, because like with all the RAM shortages and everything else going on, like I think it would be a stupid move to try to announce something right now, just with all the uncertainty in the market. But I will say, between this, some of the Xbox identity stuff, bringing it back out of Microsoft games and making it Xbox again, I saw a really dumb. I saw a really dumb as in just silly, but like kind of cool thing. They're bringing back the Xbox.com email addresses for people that work in that division. So I think that's kind
great.
of a cool thing. Yeah,
I love stuff like that.
It's a dumb thing, but like it's kind of cool. Like if they're trying to get the brand back, you know, it's a smart move. So
it makes like someone like me that was super skeptical interested in all this stuff. Like that's
so a lot still to come. But at least, like I said, there's at least some moves being made that at least sounds like you said, people are listening. So
it's the most positive sign we've seen out of Xbox in like 3 years.
Yeah. So let's see here. Next up on the list, Toei is forming a gaming division. You may know them best for Kamen Rider and Power Rangers. So I'm sure there will be some really cool stuff coming from there. Maybe it's just going to be like a licensing arm or something like that. But the fact that they're actually starting up a gaming division means that maybe they're going to take it a little more seriously and have some really cool stuff coming.
If they had some decent devs, Kamen Rider, Power Rangers, all that stuff could be pretty cool games. I mean, having super cool powers and then becoming a giant robot, like how is that not fun?
Right? Yeah. Exactly. And then I think last on my news for the week, Shuhei Yoshida was on a podcast earlier a few weeks ago, and he let a little tidbit slip. He basically said he was fired from his old job as head of PlayStation because he didn't listen to Jim Ryan. Basically, Jim Ryan told him to do A, and he said, "No, I'm going to do B." And basically, it was over after that. Like Jim Ryan just wasn't going to go with somebody that was not rowing in the same direction as him. So, I mean, kind of silly. And yeah, I've seen corporate things that happen in that space. So I'm not terribly surprised. Just, you know, like Shu kind of had everything going in the PlayStation division for quite a few years. And just to think that that's what ended it all, just kind of silly, kind of petty, but you know, it happens.
Yeah. Yeah, it's sad that stuff like that happens, but you know how the corporate world works.
I think he feels like he's in pretty good shape now. Like he's pretty happy where he's at.
That's true. All right, Jess, hit us up with your news.
Yeah, so it seems like we will be getting a Resident Evil 9 DLC relatively soon. They came out a couple days ago saying that the first of the DLCs, which is the minigame, is in its final stages of development already. It's going to be single player based off of the battles in the game, and you're going to need a completed save file to access them. So if you have not finished the game and you want to play the DLC, you need to get on that. It seems sooner rather than later, which is super exciting.
I like that.
And then, yeah, I'm super stoked.
Is it going to be?
You know, we'll have to wait and see. It seems like it's something in that vein, but I will take it. And then they said that they also have a story DLC that they are currently working on, but obviously that's going to take longer to get to than a minigame one. But I'm excited they're keeping up with the hype of it, and it seems like we're going to be getting that first one pretty soon.
Yeah, I think I saw it's sold over 7 million copies across all platforms.
Yeah, it was something.
Great.
Yeah. And so well deserved. Seriously, if you've not played it, you need to play it. It's such a good game.
Since the last time we talked, I finished it finally. So, like,
oh, and your thoughts without spoilers?
It's pretty good. I mean, I like the fact that the last little decision you get to make, if you make the wrong one, they're just like, why don't you just go ahead and just try it again.
That was insane, and I was pretty positive as to what the correct decision was. And so
Same.
I'm always the kind of person that's like, I'm going to make the wrong decision first.
Yep.
And wow, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, so super well done. It is high up on my list to like go back and replay it again. I haven't gotten to touch it again since I beat it the first time, but that's one that I can see myself coming back to pretty regularly because it's short enough to like be able to get through it, but it's so well balanced. I think the gameplay between Grace and Leon, it just is one that like hits exactly where I want it to every time. So yes.
Yeah,
for sure.
I went back and started playing it again right after I beat it because I had earned enough credits to get the I got the indestructible knife, and like it was amazing. Like I got through the first main section of Grace's campaign, and I was like, I have all these bullets left over. What am I gonna do with this? All right, here we go.
That's cool. Well, after I finally get some time here in a couple weeks and I beat it, I think we should do a Resident Evil 9 show. Because I think it's gonna be something we're all gonna have a lot to say. I think everyone has a lot to say except for me at this point. But yes, very cool.
And then the other thing that I have is not really news so much as just an update on the Tomodachi life, living the dream. Just the one thing I have been consistently playing because I can play for like 20 minutes a day and still feel accomplished.
Love it.
It is beautifully chaotic. My island is in shambles in the best way. If you like the kind of it really is. I saw somebody say it's like kind of like having an ant farm. And that's essentially what it is, because you can't really make your characters do anything that they don't want to do. But it's just the right amount of chaotic. There's some things that I wish that there's a couple things that they got rid of from the original game that I wish that they kept, but they're pretty negligible at the end of the day. Like, if they get married, it used to be they would, like, move into the same room and, like, sleep in the same bed together, and now they, like, stay in separate rooms, and I'm like, I don't really know what the point of that was. And I wish it was a little bit easier. I've had this experience, and from what I've seen, other people are having this experience of you don't get fights as often or as easy as you used to. They seem a little friendlier in this version than they did before, which is, I don't know, just kind of disappointing to me, because that's like half of the fun of it, is like some of your Miis get along and some of them don't. But a lot of respect for Nintendo being like, yeah, we're gonna let this game go out and there's gonna be no censors at all in it, and you can literally do anything. I never thought I would see them make that call.
Yeah, me either.
I think I've seen more of this in meme form than I have any other Nintendo game, for sure.
It's truly shocking. I can't believe they did that, just with the stipulation that you can't do online anything with it. But I'm like, no censors at all in a video game in 2026 is crazy, especially from Nintendo.
And there's something about that online, like the me voice. It just makes things just super absurd. It's great.
It's a great time. So it's a very fun, chill, relax at the end of the day for like 20 minutes type of thing.
Nice. Very cool. All right, well, we got a few people writing in here. We got Sketchy Ceviche saying, hiya, I only want indies on in retro on Game Pass. Hey, I'd be okay with that.
Be all right with that.
I'd be all right with that. Including 360 on retro. Hey, I probably missed out on some while my 360 was out being repaired most of that generation. That'd be great. And Fenris Wolf Retro says Resident Xbox hater, more like it. Yeah, probably, but not as much anymore. I try to be. I feel like my fanboyness has worn off a little bit over time. Maximus Prime says my favorite boss fights are Deathstroke from Batman Arkham Asylum Origins, Mr. Freeze from Arkham City, and Baldur from God of War. And then Sketchy Ceviche about the Toei thing says Toei claims it's not going to only be current IP.
Yeah,
so
which hopefully means they've got some new stuff in the works.
Yeah. So if you would like to have your comment mentioned on the air, go ahead and comment there below our YouTube video. I do read them all during the week and during the show. And if you like what you're seeing, give us a like and subscribe. We're getting pretty close to 300 subscribers. So if you want to help us jump over 300, it seems like we just hit 200. So it's nice that they're picking up. So help us jump over that 300 hump. That'd be great. So, I have a news. Forgot.
Yeah. You have a news.
I have a news. One new. So my one new is that there's been some set leaks of the Zelda movie. So, if you don't want to hear anything at all about the Zelda movie, maybe don't listen for 30 seconds, but don't close us out because we need that watch time percentage. But supposedly it looks like it looks like it's going to be based on Ocarina of Time. The set picture that was leaked looks very much like the Temple of Time from Ocarina of Time. And just a couple of the other shots look like they're, if not Ocarina of Time story, they're definitely visually inspired by Ocarina of Time, which would make sense because the remake of Ocarina of Time is very likely coming. And before Galaxy movie came out, they did the remaster of Galaxy 1 and 2. So it would make sense if that was the case. I think if they did it as a movie, it would probably be expanded pretty significantly from what the Ocarina of Time story was. But I think it's a pretty good base to go from.
Yeah. I mean, if you're going to start somewhere, you might as well start there. I don't know. Like, we'll see. I think I'm cautiously optimistic to see how that movie turns out.
I'm going to probably love it no matter what, but that's no surprise to anybody. But I would love to see lots of references between 1 and 2, and then I would have liked to sort of been more Link to the Past, but
I mean, I'm not going to disagree with you there, but again, like you said, if they're going for widest audience, like that's probably where you got to start, unfortunately.
Yep. I'm not like upset about it. Like I would prefer Link to the Past, but I'm definitely okay with Ocarina of Time.
It needs to be Spirit Tracks, and I will not hear any of this other nonsense.
What was the train? Yeah, the train, right? That was so bad. If it's a Zelda game and I don't like it, it's probably pretty bad. Because that takes some
it's
doing.
That one. It's Spirit Tracks, and what was the other one that was on the DS? Phantom Hourglass.
Phantom Hourglass. Yeah.
That one wasn't bad, but Spirit Tracks is.
Phantom Hourglass was okay. I at least got through it. Spirit Tracks was just not my thing. Oh, we got some more going on in here.
Yeah,
if it is going to be based off Ocarina of Time, there is not a force on this planet that will stop me from watching it the night of the premiere, says Fenris Wolf Retro. Yeah, me too. That's one I've wanted a Zelda movie since I was 5 years old. So this is amazing. I can't believe we're so lucky we get one. I don't even if it was the train one, Spirit Tracks, I'd probably be okay. He'll even bust out his Master Sword for the occasion. He says, and then Sketchy Javicia says, no, Spirit Tracks does not exist. Played it for weeks and 100% in it. I do not recommend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a period of time. Because Skyward Sword came out not too long after that, too.
Oh, yeah, no. For Zelda fans, it was definitely a worst of times situation.
It was the worst of times. But then we got Breath of the Wild, which I didn't like at first, but then I came around to.
Yeah.
So, all right, let's get on to boss fights. This is going to be a fun one. I'm always, I say this every week, I'm always excited when I see the topic, but I was also excited when I saw this topic because boss fights are so cool, and it was hard for me to pick some. I might even switch some of these out when I go through them. But the first one I got to go to is going to be very surprising to everybody. But it's the Sephiroth fight. The one-winged angel won in Final Fantasy VII. I can still remember the first time I fought him and lost because there's a thing. But anyway, I will never forget that first fight because the music comes on, One Winged Angel, which is like it's still not my favorite track from Final Fantasy VII, but it's a really great track. And having vocals in a game back then was very rare, so it seemed very fancy. And then when he destroys the entire solar system with his move, where the sun just destroys everything, and then somehow you're still there on Earth fighting after it, and he'll do it like multiple times, is a little weird, but it was an amazing fight. And then you hate him so much because of all he's done. He burns down your house with your mother in it. He kills Aerith. Sorry for the spoilers, Jess. And it's a very intense hate you have for him by the end. And you get this fight, and then once you've beaten him in that, you think that there's going to be another fight. It's just you and him standing across like this, but it automatically charges you up to your most powerful move, and you just like wail on him and just absolutely kick the crap out of him, like just absolutely destroy. It's so satisfying at that point. So anyway, nothing will ever beat for me that boss fight.
Yeah, I've seen it a few times. I've never actually experienced it myself, like gotten to that point. I told you my Final Fantasy VII story. Like,
I know
I got soft locked, but anyway,
it still shocks me, even though I know.
But I've seen somebody play through that fight, and it is pretty amazing. It is way up there in the pantheon of boss fights, and I like that it's not just your standard. I mean, all the Final Fantasy. Well, most of the Final Fantasy games, the final boss fight is something that's a little bit different from everything else you've done the entire game. And I like that Final Fantasy VII was no exception.
Yes, for sure. And, it's fun if you get Vincent, and Vincent, will transform into whatever level you have. But if it's the final, like, werewolfy one, and he'll just, like, do Satan Slam over and over again. It's also, like, I think the first time I saw Satan in a video game. Because Nintendo wouldn't allow that. That.
Yeah, that's true.
It'd have been like Spooky Slam or something.
Yeah, it's true.
So, all right, Jack, what's your boss fight?
Yeah, so I'm going to stick with Final Fantasy. And I think my favorite one, or at least one of my favorites, is the God Kefka Tower from the final boss of Final Fantasy VI. So, like,
a good one.
Kefka, maniacal jester, basically blows up the world, and at the very end he's ascended to godhood, and you essentially have to destroy this tower that he has made of himself and of other things. I'm still not quite sure what it's supposed to represent. I'm sure I can go find a YouTube video or some dissertation on it online, but essentially you have to fight like 4 different forms of Kefka in this god form before you finally get to him at the top. And it is one of the most amazing, like the boss music is incredible. Like it literally goes through different phases as you get up to his final form. And it is pretty incredible. I mean, just, I have not seen a game that really tries to impress upon you, like how overpowered you are from the start with that boss. Maybe I'm just making some wild accusations here, but like there's something about that boss that really just gives it a sense of scale that I don't think you really saw on the Super Nintendo a whole lot. And just the fact that it was so many different phases, and that fight literally would take you 15-30 minutes just to get through. It makes it really super memorable in my mind.
Great choice. I'm down with that for sure. Yeah, 6 and 7, like, and 5 in there too. Honestly,
five's on my list later on.
Well, honestly, 5 through 10, like if you look at like a game series, and I know 8 isn't everyone's favorite, but 5 through 10 in general, that's like a pretty strong run of a series to be at that level for that many games in a row. You don't see that many series that do that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, and then we lost it for a little bit, but all right, Jess, what's your first pick?
So my first pick is going to be Sans from Undertale on the Genocide route. It is, I think, probably the hardest boss fight I have ever like successfully beat. And I've never been more stressed. And, you know, Sans is just such a fascinating character, and it's emotional, and it makes you like actually face the fact that you have been this horrible, horrible person throughout the entire playthrough, and having like all the backstory of all the ways it can go well if you don't go the genocide routes. I just think it's such a like emotionally impactful final boss, and then a very stressful boss to try to beat.
Yes, that's a really good one.
Yeah, it is a really good one.
That game's like a mind-blowing game.
It's one of my favorites of all time. It's so well done.
Well, and I remember someone telling me that that game was going to blow my mind, and then I looked at the screenshot, and I was like, you know, and I shouldn't have been so close-minded, because it's like absolutely a mind-blowing game. No question. So very nice choice. All right, so Fenris has chosen one of mine, which I'm not going to get to quite yet. I might as well. I'll just do it because he already said it. So Fenris talked about Ganondorf in Ocarina of Time, and that is. I can still remember. I remember all these. I have a crazy memory, but I can remember being in my basement in 1998. Like my dad really wanted to use the TV so he could work out. And I'm like about to fight Ganon. I'm like, I can't. I gotta beat Ganon. I finally got to Ganon. Like I can't stop. So instead of working out to whatever he wanted to watch, he worked out to the Ganondorf fight. And you know that the tennis match thing is cool. But what's really cool is that next fight where you're kind of outside and Ganon is very dark, and you see him in the lightning flashes, and that's one thing that the remake on 3DS I think makes him too bright, unfortunately. But I hope when they do the remake that they keep that lighting going, because having him dark and obfuscated, you don't really see him, and then you get these flashes and he just looks terrifying in these very brief flashes, and he's so powerful in that fight. So, and then you have to like lead Zelda down some stairs.
Yeah, no, it's pretty cool. Have you seen the little diorama that Lego's selling of the final Ganon fight?
No. By the way, that's the other piece of why Ocarina of Time is going to be the movie.
Oh, is it? But yeah, you should see the little Lego diorama for that. It looks pretty cool.
Oh my god. That is cool. That's really cool.
Like, I'm gonna be getting that between the FIFA soccer ball, or I'm trying to decide whether to get the soccer ball or the World Cup trophy, and I think I'm just gonna get the soccer ball.
I like how he's airborne, Link.
Yeah.
But no, like when I was looking at the rumors for, that's one of the pieces that they keep mentioning that they, you know, because they could have done one from like Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, or any of them, but they did Ocarina of Time.
Interesting.
We'll see. Who knows?
Indeed.
All right, Jack, what's your next pick?
Yeah, so my next one, I'm going to go with Resident Evil. Resident Evil 2, Dr. Birkin, his final blob form. Like, you know, if you've played Resident Evil 2 or you played the Resident Evil 2 remake, the only way you get to fight this boss is after you play it through the second time with the other character. So whether you start as Claire, finish as Leon, whether you start as Leon, finish as Claire, the very final fight is you against blob form Dr. Birkin, which is like the final G virus mutation. And it's really simple, not much to it. Just shoot him a few times in the mouth and you're done. And I think if you've got a rocket launcher, it's even quicker than that. But it's kind of fun. It's a cool little, like, hey, you took the time to play through this game twice. Here's a fun little extra boss fight for you. And then you get the true ending. And it always just stuck with me because it's like, man, I put in a lot of extra work, and oh my God, here's this extra fight that I get because I put some extra time into it. And it's always one of those things that stuck with me as kind of a really cool, thanks for sticking with it and seeing the whole thing through kind of reward.
Yes. That's a good one. That is one that has been a really long time for me since I've seen that.
I am hopeful once things calm down at work, I'm going to finally finish off at least Resident Evil 2 in the Resident Evil retrospective live streams I was doing back in like February and January.
Well, life gets in the way. Subquests.
Indeed. Yeah.
But I look forward to that as well. It's fun watching you get scared. Because it's not as scared as I would be. I would be more scared. But all right, Jess, what's your next pick?
So going off of that, I will go ahead and jump to my Resident Evil pick, which is Marguerite Baker in Resident Evil 7. Resident Evil 7 is just such a terrifying game. And I think she is the most disturbing one of them all when you fight her, and the way that her like limbs elongate and she turns into this like spider type creature. It's just so horrifying. Yeah. And it's so perfect. And I love it.
Yes.
It is pretty distressing. Like literally the first thing when I saw that the first time, I was just like, oh great, I'm playing the thing. Here we go.
I think that's the best descriptor, distressing.
Yeah.
I think it was distressing. For sure. All right. So going on to my next one now. Back to the Zelda well. For me, there's a lot of great boss fights in Zelda. They could pretty much probably all be Zelda boss fights. But I'm going to go with the first boss in Zelda 2, the horse face man. And the reason that I picked this one is because I just have such strong memories of this. I know that Zelda 2 is kind of the black sheep of the family that people don't like as much. I've always really liked Zelda 2. And, it was really cool that they took such a big chance. They could have just done a carbon copy of Zelda 1, and instead they do a complete genre shift and do a lot of stuff with it. And the music's great. But going into that first temple was so exciting. Right? And the music, dun, 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 dun. And then getting to that final boss, the horse face man. I don't know what his name is. He probably has a much better name than that.
I don't think it's too much better than that. I'm going to look it up real quick while you're talking.
Zelda 2 bosses. But anyway,
his name is just Horsehead. That's right.
Horsehead. So not much better than Horseface Man. That I just always remember that one being so much fun because you start to realize that the combat in that game was so much more, I mean, it seems weird to think of it now, but it was so much more advanced than most of the other NES games at the time, and having to jump and have the different timings and it just lets you know that throughout that game you're going to have some really cool boss fights. And so that one will always stick out to you. I have such strong memories of playing that and getting to that first boss and how cool it was to start on that journey.
Yeah, it's not a particularly difficult boss fight. It's just haste, stab him in his head, back away, do it again.
Yep.
But to your point, I mean, it is kind of cool. It's like, oh, hey, there's this other boss down here at the bottom of this temple, and it doesn't use all the gameplay mechanics, but it does start to teach you, hey, like the things you've had to do to get through these the knights that are down here, you're gonna have to do this with some bigger bosses too, and they can actually hurt you.
Yeah, I replayed Zelda 2. I mean, it's probably been like 8 years now, but it held up better than I thought it would.
I always seem to have like a game on one of either my Steam Deck or something else that I always have. That's always like, I don't know, I get to like the third temple and it just kind of stalls out. But I do really enjoy that game quite a bit.
It gets hard, and like knowing where to go in the temples gets hard. But it's one of the few Zeldas that doesn't have Koji Kondo as the composer. And
really, I didn't realize that.
I didn't realize it until very recently, actually. But yeah, they had. I gotta say his name right. It's gonna drive me nuts. Akito Natsuka. Created like the palace theme. He also did Ice Climber. Yeah. So he's lit like a Nintendo dude, but
nice.
Great themes. All right, Jack, what's your next one?
So my next one is Bowser from Super Mario 3. So like when I was a kid, Super Mario Brothers 1, Bowser was Bowser. You just fought him 8 times, and the last time you fight him, if you cut the cut the bridge out from under him, he just dies. Or if you hit him with fireballs, he just dies. He doesn't turn into something else. So like whatever. But Super Mario 3, when you get to his final castle after the end of his world, there's something about like he just kind of pops out and then it's like, oh, hey, by the way, I'm just going to crush you. And it took me a few tries. I mean, it wasn't super difficult, but it did take a few tries for me to figure out exactly what was going on and realizing that, oh, if I get him to smash all the way down to the bottom, I can get him to kill himself, basically. So I thought that was really cool. And based on like between Super Mario 2 and Super Mario 1, it was a really cool departure from all the other boss fights, because like, you know, even the Koopalings that you fight in Super Mario 3, like you just stomp on their head just like anything else, and with Bowser you can't do that. You've got to get him to off himself, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yes, that's a great choice. I actually wrote that one down and then saw you had it, so I had to change it. But no, I remember that too. The first time I played Bowser, it was so much different from, you know, any of the other Mario bosses that I didn't really know what to do.
Yeah.
And I died on him a few times. And then like I saw the bricks go away and you kind of figure it out. But again, cool move to do something new and different.
Yeah. Yeah. And the music in that boss fight is great.
Yes, it is. That's one BreakmanX and I just beat that game, that full game,
Nice.
like a month or two ago. So very fun. All right, Jess, what's your next one?
So on to my favorite Mario boss. It's Hooktail, which is the first dragon that you reach in Paper Mario Thousand Year Door.
Oh,
yeah.
Good one.
I just remember I loved Paper Mario so much because of like how cool the concept and the art of it looked. And I remember getting to that first dragon and being like, this is literally like a fairy tale storybook. And I'm fighting a dragon and it's all paper. Mm-hmm. And then, you know, there's all these like little things you do like the regular fight, but then like it tries to trick you into taking like gold or like a bribe to stop fighting it. And then there's the thing where it's like crickets or something. If you found something like and the attacks could make the cricket sound and upset it.
Oh,
I think it was crickets.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crickets.
Yeah. And that was really cool. And then there's the thing where it like comes back and it starts like eating the audience. Which plays into the whole idea that you've got to like put on a show. And it was just like all of those like little things that felt so different from any Mario game I had ever played before. And it's one that always sticks out in my mind, and it's like super high up on my list of games I want to go back and replay because it's been so long. But I just really love it. And all of the dragons are cool. There's like 3 of them you fight. Mm-hmm. But I just remember that first one, the first time I saw it, I was like, oh, it really is like a fairy tale storybook.
Yep. For sure. Jack, I think you were the one that told me to play Paper Mario, if I remember.
Yeah. Yeah, I picked up, not the first Paper Mario, but Thousand Year Door. I picked up pretty early on when it came out because I was just like, this looks awesome. It's going to show off the GameCube. This is going to be really cool. And yeah, I was not disappointed. That's probably, I think, Thousand Year Door and Super Paper Mario are probably the only 2 I finished in that series.
Those are 2 very,
yeah.
I think those are the 2 I finished.
Mm-hmm. Same.
Supposedly the N64 one's pretty good, but I've never given it a go.
I played that one, and honestly, I don't know whether it was just preview coverage of it or what, but I really expected something that was akin to like Super Mario RPG out of Paper Mario.
Yeah.
And that game was not the follow-up to Super Mario RPG, and so I kind of tossed it aside pretty quick and went back to whatever I was
that
playing.
was how it was covered, because I remember reading and like online, people like, oh, it's going to be Super Mario RPG, and it was not that.
No, it was not.
But yeah, Thousand Year Door is awesome. Great pick, and thanks to Jack for getting me to play it 30,000 years ago. All right, my next one. Which one should I go with? I'm gonna go to the Bowser well, because this was where my Super Mario 3 one was, and I changed it to Bowser and Super Mario World. Because this one was just such a fun fight. I mean, you have to grab the guys, hit them, grab them, throw them up, and hit Bowser and thing. And it becomes kind of a physics puzzle in a way, because you have to get them up and over and onto it. It also shows off the Super Nintendo scaling effects and some of the hard. Because that was, one of the things when you first played Super Mario World is kind of deceptive how much more powerful the SNES was than the NES. And so seeing some of the actual hardware effects coming into play was pretty cool. And that noise, that like I will always remember that noise because it's such a bizarre noise, and it'll always bring me back to that, you know. And then the princess kisses you and Mario turns really red.
Yeah. I think that's the only boss fight, at least that's the first boss fight where Bowser, I think, stopped being like a menacing figure, because like the wacky faces he makes when you hit him with one of his little like claptrap thingies are just that face is just so wild and out there. It's just like, they're just going for like a Looney Tunes thing here.
I miss him being scary.
Yeah,
and maybe it's just being a kid, but like,
well, I think they did that with Bowser's Revenge or Bowser's World, the Super Mario World like add-on. Oh,
3D World?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's more new Super Mario Brothers was the one where you have like the Koopas like dancing to the music and stuff. Yeah. And it's just like, there are no stakes here.
Yeah.
There are no stakes. So, but yeah. All right, Jack, what's your next one?
Yeah, so my next one is from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's Richter Belmont. You get to fight him at the very end of the normal castle. And if you don't get the correct items and you don't follow the story correctly, then you don't know, like, Richter will be the last boss you fight. Like, that's the end of the game. Everything's kind of like, oh, well, I guess we beat him. All right, let's go home. And it's just kind of not satisfying. But if you manage to do what the game wants you to do and you explore everything, you find all the hidden items, you get the, I think it's the special glasses you need. I can't remember exactly what it is because it's been a little while, but you get the glasses you need and you can see Shaft controlling Richter, and then you just have to fight. Like you don't even attack Richter, you attack Shaft controlling Richter. And then you get to go to the reverse castle after you break the spell. And I just thought it was such a cool little trick that they played, where like, hey, if you just play this game and you just think you're doing what you're supposed to do, that's the end of the game. You know, just kind of unsatisfying. But if you go the extra mile, again, I think I'm big on going that extra mile in a lot of these things. Like, you go that extra mile, you go find the hidden items, you go get what you need to do, and you follow the clues that the game is placing in your way, you can have a really cool experience, and you can see the true ending after you fight through the reverse castle. For sure. That was a great, the holy glasses. Yeah, the holy glasses. Yes, right. The holy glasses. I that's another one. I remember, like, totally, I beat it a few years later. I got it when it came out, and then for some reason, I just didn't beat it for a while. And then I came back to it. We had a really terrible snowstorm. And I was like trapped in my house for a while. And I was like, I'm going to play this. And I remember like getting and having the 200, you can get 200%. Like, that was really cool. I mean, to have that much stuff in the game, that game just seemed massive. Still seems massive. Absolutely. There's a reason that every GBA and DS game after it was just trying to recapture that feeling. Metrovania. Sketchy Ceviche says Super Mario World was really a showcase of everything: transparencies, sampled music, rotation scaling, saves, sampled voices. Yoshi. Yeah, it really was. It's deceptive though, because like I remember lots of folks when Super Mario World came out saying it didn't really look much different than an NES, which is totally wrong. I say those people are blind. Well, yes. I mean, I was always like, can't you see that it's colorful? And but yeah, it's cool. I like the showing off. So, Symphony of the Night, awesome. SNES hardware, awesome. Yes. Jess's next pick, awesome.
So my next pick, we're going back to Dragon Age, which I feel like I haven't done in a minute. But it's the Archdemon in Dragon Age Origins. Not only is the fight itself like super epic and like you finally gotten to the end and this is the big showdown that you've been waiting for, but you also have like the story implications of deciding which of the Grey Wardens is going to either die trying to kill the Archdemon or if you've decided to do the ritual instead. But I feel like it just carries so much more significance because, you know, there's the possibility that either you or Alistair don't make it out of the fight by necessity. So I find that really interesting, and you know, it's an older game, so the mechanics of the fight are maybe not like always the best, but I feel like it is just a really fun battle to get through, and then you get the like huge payoff of killing the giant dragon that you've been chasing the whole game.
Nice. I had never made it to the Archdemon. Like I got pretty far into Dragon Age Origins, but I never beat it.
Oh, see, and I have beaten it at least twice with every single Origin option. I've played that game so many times. But yeah, it's so crazy because, you know, I feel like you don't get as often the opportunity to just like completely lose one of your, either your main character or your companion characters like that, especially back then. I feel like it's become a little bit more common now. And so I always thought that was like a really cool choice that you were given. And then there's the whole ritual option where you can have a old god demon baby instead of somebody dying. And then that's like kind of important, but then decided to not be important at all. In the later games, we just kind of entirely throw that away, but whatever. But it was like a really cool concept. Like at the time, I remember being like, oh, like this is not just like a fun, goofy choice that's gonna not mean anything. Like this is actually like life or death situation, which was really cool.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yes.
Very, very cool.
Demon babies are always good.
Missed opportunity, man. They really could have done something interesting with that kid, and they did not.
That would have made for a really interesting Dragon Age 2. At least a lot more than what ended up being Dragon Age 2.
Well, I have very complicated feelings about Dragon Age 2. It's actually one of my favorites.
I know.
But it had a lot of restrictions that were unfortunate. But like, and they bring the kid back in Inquisition, and he's there for like half a second.
That's
but
true.
He doesn't matter. And then like in Belgard, we're just like, nothing at all that happened before matters. And nothing matters going forward because we're never going to get another game, which is a bummer.
Yeah.
But Origins is a phenomenal game, and it's one that I would still say, even though it's older, and if you can get it to play without crashing, you should play it because it is still a good game that holds up.
Sure.
Yeah.
Very cool. For my next one, so many good ones to pick. I'm going to veer away from the Zelda wing and the Mario wing and go to Double Dragon 2.
All right.
I love Double Dragon 2. And when I get my NES back from Fenris, my original Double Dragon 2 that I got for my for Christmas in 1990, I think, will probably be the first game I put in. But I it's like that game. You really have to master like the different moves to be able to beat that last boss. He's very, very quick. And if you can't do the knee thing that sounds weird and the spin kick, if you can't do those things like really consistently and well, you have no shot at it. So there were so many times, and you also in the American version have to set the difficulty to the Supreme Master, hardest difficulty to even get the opportunity to fight him. The Japanese one, you didn't have to do that, but you know, rentals can't rent the game and beat it. So they had to make it super hard. But it's super difficult, and there were so many times as a kid I would get there and die.
I don't think I ever made it to him in the home version. At least I've not since I've played it last. I don't think I've actually made it to him without a bunch of cheat codes or game GD stuff going on.
You can also do 2-player B.
That's true.
Where you can hurt the second player, and then if you kill the second player, you get their lives.
Yeah.
So you can just do 2-player B and kill the other player over and over again and get 7 lives instead of 3.
Yep. It's true.
Yep. Vampire.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Jack, what's your next pick?
Yeah, so my next one is a recent one, and it's still very fresh in my mind, but Higgs from Death Stranding 2. So I don't want to spoil anything 'cause it's still a pretty new game. It just came out on PC about a month ago. Higgs is probably one of my I really liked the Higgs storyline, and he presents as a very menacing bad guy in Death Stranding 1, but in Death Stranding 2, you get the sense just from all the motion capture and all the acting and everything, like Troy Baker is really the only person that really understands what Hideo Kojima is going for in any of it, and so he just kind of plays it up even more so, and he's menacing, but he's also just like absolutely just chewing the scenery anytime he's in the shot. Like he is just enjoying every second of it, and he just enjoys being a complete heel to Sam and the rest of the crew. There's something about that final fight, like if you played Metal Gear Solid 4, you know exactly what I'm talking about. Like Kojima literally has a guitar battle at the end, and it starts out with a music, like almost a music video with other members of the crew, and then Higgs gets into it and Sam gets into it, and like I don't want to spoil it more than I already have, but it is just an incredible boss fight, and I have to give it to Kojima for just being completely out there and deciding to do something different, or at least really leaning into his over-the-top nature.
Yes, good for him. I've not played it, but I can imagine it's cool. And, maybe Kojima is going to be vindicated for some things. Because that Metal Gear Solid, the boss with the AI government, is not quite as crazy as it was when we played it 24 years ago. So, who knows what kind of guitar battles we're going to have in our society going forward.
Yeah, as long as I get cool floating whales.
You know what?
After
the last 10 years, anything is possible. Anything is possible. Hopefully, it's good. But nice pick. You made me curious about Death Stranding.
You should really play it, man. Like it takes a long time to get there, but man, it is worth seeing that game through.
And now with my cheaper Game Pass, is it going to be on Game Pass?
Death Stranding 1 is. Death Stranding 2 is not, but it's on Steam for I think $50.
That's not bad. Huh. Not bad. All right, Jess, what's your next pick?
My next pick is one that I know I've mentioned before, but one thing that will always get me is when you're playing a game in a series where each game you have a different player character that you play as, and the player character from a previous game shows up. And one of my favorite instances of that is in the Pokemon Silver, Gold, Crystal games, where you get to the very end and you get to battle Red from the first game. Yeah. And it's an incredibly difficult fight. It's one of the most leveled up players that you battle against in the games. But it's just such a cool moment, because not only do you get to go through all of Johto, then you get to go back to Kanto and go back through everything that you went through, and then all of a sudden there's your character from the first game. And it was such a cool full circle moment, and I just love it so much.
Yeah, I have not played through that series of Pokemon games, but I certainly have had experiences with that, with similar thing. I can't remember. I'm trying to think. There's definitely other games that have done things like that, and it's super cool when they do it. You're like, oh hey, I know this place. I know what this is. God, there was something I was just playing that I'll have to think of it. But anytime they come back to previous game areas, and you're like, oh hey, I know where this is. I'm sorry. I know exactly what it is. It's Resident Evil 2. or Resident Evil 9, like going back to Raccoon City. So like, yeah, like super. Like, yep, let's go through this police station again. So good, so good.
Yeah, very good. Okay, for my next one, I'm going to go with Andros. And you can go with
which Andros?
I'm going to say the one from Star Fox 64.
Okay.
The SNES one is also really great.
You don't like Cube Andros?
Which one's Cube Andros?
That's from the Super Nintendo version. Like you blow up you blow up the face and then it's just the cube.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. No, I know what you're talking about. That one's good. I just the Super Nintendo Star Fox I didn't really like until I got the overclocked version where it ran at not 12 frames a second.
Yeah.
So, and I, again, not saying it's not good. I know everyone loves it. It's just me, the frame rate, I literally get nauseous when the frame rate is not consistent. So, but the Star Fox 64, that game is so awesome. And if the rumor is true and we're getting a new good Star Fox of the classic style this summer, that would be amazing.
Here's hoping.
Here's hoping. But all those boss fights are really cool. But the Andros fight at the very, very end, where you're blasting his face apart, will always hold a special place in my heart. And you also fly through like the tunnel thing to get there. Mm-hmm. It's very Star Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, that movie that game is basically a takeoff of Star Wars and Independence Day and like a few other sci-fi movies that Miyamoto probably enjoyed and was like, let's make Fox Wars. You'll like never defeat Andros. Jesus.
So bad. So bad.
So bad. But fun.
Indeed.
All right, Jack, next pick.
All right, so my next pick is another Final Fantasy. We're going back to that well. Gilgamesh from Final Fantasy V. So I've been playing through Final Fantasy V. I started off, I was on a trip to California, and since I had a pretty long plane flight, I decided to get into Final Fantasy V because what else am I going to do? I started playing it on my Steam Deck and playing just a Super Nintendo ROM I had that was translated. Well, turns out I got about, I don't know, 4 or 5 hours into the game, and turns out the translation is not very good. It's a very early one. And so there's a lot of like placeholder dialogue, and I don't think the translation was like really great. So after playing through that for about 15 hours, I got to the Battle of the Big Bridge, which if you know the game, you know exactly where that is. It's where you get to a place and you go along a big bridge and you fight a lot of monsters, and then you fight Gilgamesh, the main evil villain, X-Death's right-hand man. It is an interest, like the music is incredible. It is probably my favorite composition within the entire Final Fantasy series. It is just fast, it's upbeat, and the arrangement they have on the Pixel remaster is phenomenal. Something about Gilgamesh, he's not your typical boss character. Like he's kind of whiny, he's sniveling, like he looks really mean, he looks like a samurai, and he hits hard, but he hits you like 3 or 4 times and you do some damage to him and he runs away. And like there's like 3 different fights where you fight him and he just runs away, or he brings in a friend and then he runs away. And so it's really fun just to have him keep popping back up and just like, oh, you're just going to run away again after I hit you hard enough. But between the music, which is super frantic, super fun, it is really, really cool. And in fact, it was so cool. The reason I brought up that stuff at the beginning was after I got back to KC from that trip, and after I put 15 hours into it, A, because of some of the translation difficulties, but also B, because I really fell in love with the job system and how much fun I was having kind of mixing and matching a lot of the jobs between characters. I ended up getting the Pixel Remaster collection and started playing it from scratch on Steam. So now I'm still playing on the Steam Deck, but I'm playing the actual version from Square, which has, I'll say that the story is not Final Fantasy VI good, but it is still very, very good for one of the Super Nintendo Final Fantasy games.
And it is 35% off.
Yes.
If anyone you can get Final Fantasy 1 through 6 Pixel Remaster with all the modernization for $40.
Yeah, I would say that is the, depending on how much you want to play through the Final Fantasy games, the 1 through 6 games, I will say that is the perfect price for it. The new additions, the translations of the games that didn't come out over here, and the new remixes or arrangements of all the songs is worth it, but I don't think it's like $75-$80 worth it. So definitely pick it up while it's on sale.
Awesome. Yeah, I will vouch for the Pixel Remasters as well. It's even like Final Fantasy 1 is hard to go back to.
Yeah.
But
yeah, it is.
It's a kind of okay on the Pixel Remaster.
Yeah. And like I remember like 4 holds up, 6 holds up, 5 is really great. I'm really enjoying it. I'm a little scared to try going back to 2 and 3 because like I played 3 on the DS when it came out there, and man, it's
the 3D version.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the 3D.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's an okay game. I can see why they didn't bring it out over here.
Yeah. Fenris Wolf Retro says Pokemon X and Y had the best ending fight of all Pokemon. After becoming League Champion, you fight A through Z. Someone who you encounter throughout the entire story of the game, but know little about. Once you beat him, you learn he is the guy who fired the life-erasing weapon centuries ago. And is reunited with his partner Pokemon to find the weapon to revive, indicating that centuries apart, he was forgiven by his friend. Jess, what do we think?
I think the Pokemon lore has gotten insane, is what I think. As a lifelong fan, some of the new stuff, I'm just like, oh, okay, and there's God, and there's the devil, and that's what we're doing now.
The God and the devil are in Pokemon?
Yeah.
I cannot believe Nintendo allowed that.
Well, I mean, not explicitly, but like there are Pokemon that are essentially, this Pokemon is essentially God, and this Pokemon is essentially the devil, and this, like, yeah, like that world. Yeah.
They let you put God in a Pokeball?
You know, if you've got a good enough Pokeball,
gotta catch them all.
Anything can happen.
Yeah. Jeez.
It gets crazy. It gets crazy.
That's crazy. He also says probably one of the few things he likes about Pokemon X and Y, to be honest.
They're not great. I would recommend people go back to the old games if you're gonna get into it.
My son has been playing Arceus and XY and Sword and Shield again. I don't know what kick he's on, but like he has literally put in hundreds of hours now in all 3 of those games.
So I have heard, I've not gotten to it yet, but I do plan to. I've heard that Arceus is actually not bad. Like I've heard if you're gonna play a newer game, that is one to go to. Sword and Shield were, I don't know, because I have a hard time saying anything about it because I don't know how much of it is just I'm not a kid anymore. But I'm a bigger fan of the 2D stuff, so like 3D kind of throws me a little bit. Yeah. And they've gotten more open world, like they've tried like to do that, and like that doesn't feel like Pokemon. It feels like a different thing. And so I like the original OG Pokemon formula, and that's what I love, and that's what I want to come back to.
Yeah.
But there are some of the new games that are not bad, but X and Y is not. I think it's pretty universally thought of as not a great installation in the series.
Yeah.
Good to know. I like the 2D game ones better, even though I know nothing about the series. I don't remember which one we were talking about. Oh, we talked about Final Fantasy V because the Epic of Gilgamesh.
Yes.
Great game. But we did not move on to Jess's yet.
Not yet.
So, Jess.
So my next one is from a game that I have still not beaten. I will do it someday. But it's Baldur's Gate 3, and it's Kazador. Which I won't get too spoilery because it's such a narrative-heavy game. But he is the one responsible for a lot of the horrible things that happen to Astarion, who is one of your companions that you most likely come to care about. Even if you're like me and he kind of irritates you and you like to give him a hard time. But Kazador is just such an awful, awful person that it feels really cathartic to defeat him. And then it's one of the few, because I don't remember there being a lot of them in the game, although I could be wrong. But it's one of the few like timed fights where you only have like a certain amount of turns to beat him, or he completes his ritual and Astarion dies. And so that's like kind of an interesting, stressful aspect of it, especially if you're like me and are really bad at like strategy and thinking things through before you go into battles. So that's a little fun. It took me more times than I would have liked to have actually beaten that fight. But it feels very like narratively rewarding because of how much Astarion has gone through and how much you just really hate Kazador by the time you reach him.
Gotcha.
I like games that make you hate the last boss. Because it gives stakes.
He's not the last one, but he is in Act 3, so he's like towards the end.
Yeah.
So essentially he's part of, because you've got like the overarching story, and then you've got each of your companions has their own like personal quest, and he's like the final boss of Astarion's personal quest. So he's up there, and he's like one of the end ones, but he's not necessarily like main story. I think you could probably skip him entirely if you wanted to. I mean, definitely if you don't even get Astarion in the first place, but
yeah,
I think most people end up well, I think most people end up encountering him, at least on their first playthrough.
For sure.
Cool. But I do like when you hate the bosses. It gives it stakes. I don't want to like, I want to be afraid of them. I want to not like them. I want something bad to happen if I don't beat them.
Baldur's Gate 3 is really good at establishing relationships when they come up as part of the story. For sure. Or
everybody has a personality.
Yeah, or just, you know, some of the randomness of battle, like maybe you have some really bad dice rolls against a boss and you just come to hate him because of whatever luck you've had in the past, and you feel great when you just finally put it to him. Yeah,
for sure. I still need to play it.
It's a good game. I really need to. The problem is it's been so long at this point. I gave up somewhere like halfway through Act 3. And the problem is it's been so long, as if I had to go back to it, I have to start over. Because I don't remember where I was. And I don't remember the choices I've made. And I'm like right before all of the big stuff is supposed to go down. And I'm like, I could play this through, but like none of it's going to have the emotional impact because I'm so far removed. Because I started playing it my first semester of grad school, and then I got busy and stopped. So it's been almost 2 years. I don't remember.
I hate when that happens in games.
Yeah.
Because like if it's a movie, it's easy. You can go back and start it over and you've only lost like an hour maybe. But a game that happens to you and you've lost like 2 weeks of your life regaining the emotional stakes.
It's so much for Baldur's Gate. It's so much.
Yeah. Well, it's not just the emotional weight of it all, but it's also like the gameplay. It's like you get back into something like Baldur's Gate 3 after being away for 2 weeks and you're like, what buttons do what now?
Yep.
And so like I really wish, and I think somebody said this, so I'm stealing it from somebody, I can't remember who, but like basically like hey, I have a real life and I'm just coming back to this game after a month. Remind me how to play this game. Mode.
I think there's an opinion like about that.
Give me 2 tips on how to play this game, and then I'll figure it out from there.
Well, and then if you're like me and you're not like, I have an amount of knowledge about D&D, but I'm not like, I don't know everything. So I'm also like, oh, and what spell does what and what do, like, because there's like the whole added extra layer of all the D&D stuff on top of it. So it's not even just the buttons, but it's remembering the everything. And I'm just like, nope.
Yeah.
See, I'm right with you there. I really enjoy D&D, but I'm not like a master of knowing all the ins and outs. I like to participate. I could never be like a dungeon master.
No.
It's tough.
I would love to tell the story, but I wouldn't know enough about the mechanics to like make it work well within the game.
Yeah.
I've DM'd like story focused stuff, but never like a full like Dungeons and Dragons like 5e, all of the everything. Like it's more very basic. You roll good, you hit. You roll bad, you don't. And that's as much into mechanics as we're gonna get here.
Our friend Christina is my favorite DM.
Yes, she's the one that I've played with. And she's amazing.
She DMs she was a former student of mine, but she also DMs. She DMs for my video game class every time when we play D&D, and she always has a completely different. We had a ghost story one time, and then we had horse racing. Like it's always very, very different and interesting, and everyone gets into it. Awesome. Well, I shouldn't say. There's certain types of people that are taking the class that you may not know quite what they're getting into, that would never have considered playing D&D. And then they're kind of like really hesitant to play it. Like, am I going to be a nerd now? And then they end up really liking it. And it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, and they're the ones that come up with the fun stuff. Like, what if I'm a gnome that dual wields crossbows? And you're like, yeah, what if? Let's see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Because they're not like caught up in the like logic of, oh, what does this setting kind of thing. They're just like, oh, cool. Can I do that? And you're like, yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
Yeah, no, that was really cool. We've got a few more write-ins here. Sketchy Zavice says, it's pretty fun when discussing lore with my kid. Cutesy space-time abominations, going back to Pokemon. And then Fenris says, another fight I really loved is Henry Cooldown from No More. Oh, that was a good one. From No More Heroes. When you collect all beam katanas and upgrades, you encounter Henry as the secret final boss, and it is an awesome clash. He also has a one-hit kill move you cannot block. That doesn't sound fun. Sketchy Zavice says, not quite a boss, as it happens outside of the delusion, but the final antagonist of Alice Madness returns. Really cathartic. The guys is one of the few characters I've actually hated.
That's a good one.
For sure. And Fenris, you should get the D&D. You'd like it. All right. Back. So my next one, I'm skipping around a little bit on my list. I'm going to do Argus from A Link to the Past. And because I just thought this was like the coolest boss.
Which one was Argus?
So Argus is the one in the swamp. The swamp. Is it the Swamp Temple? Swamp Palace. And you have to open the window to have the light shine on him.
Yeah. No, that's not the swamp. That's the village.
Is that the village?
Yeah. If you have to get the light, the one with the light, like he's the prisoner.
And then he turns into like a jellyfish. And you pull the orbs.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, it's the one.
Wait.
I think it's the swamp.
No, you're right. But the one with the light, that's the one in the village.
I might be conflating two.
It's all right. Go on.
Anyway,
but yes, the jellyfish one is pretty good.
The jellyfish one is pretty cool. Yeah, you're right. I was wrong. It's the one that I was interested in is the one where you have to open the window to shine the light on him. The blind thief. Yes. Because that's just such a cool gimmick for the level, and discovering that was really, really cool. But also the Swamp Palace one's pretty cool. Even though that wasn't all the one I wanted to mention. That's what you get for naming a boss Argus and like names that have no. I prefer Horsehead. because then you know exactly what I'm talking about.
You know exactly who you're talking about.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I always thought that was, and it shows off the transparencies. So
Yeah.
all right, Jack, what's your next pick?
Oh boy. I'm kind of out of picks for most memorable.
We could go down to worst.
Yeah, we can go. I think let's go to worst. These aren't the worst boss fights, but they're the worst boss fight mechanics. Because like everybody's had those boss fights where you're just like, just get this over with. So you want to take your first one?
Sure. Well, I just went. You go.
Okay. All right. So my and Nintendo is a huge offender on this. As much as I love Nintendo, they are probably the worst about this, or anybody that doesn't put much thought into their boss fights. But my least favorite boss fight mechanic is, hey, do this exact same thing 3 times and then you beat the boss. So like Mario 64, throw Bowser by his tail 3 times.
So long, Bowsy.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers 3, you basically have to get Bowser to try to land on you 3 times in the same spot. Super Mario World, throw 3 of the little claptrap things up into his. I cannot tell you how many games, especially Mario games, it is, hey, do this one thing 3 times and then you win, and it just drives me up the wall. Like I said, it's not just Nintendo. There's a lot of different lazy platformers that do this, other games that do it, and anytime I see it rear its head, I just want to cringe and crawl up into a ball and just say, you guys didn't really think about this thing at all, did you?
3. That's what we know.
Yeah. The magic number, it's 3.
3. What you put into the world comes back to you threefold. I think the old saying. All right, Jess, what's your next one?
So mine are all tied to like very specific ones. And one of the things that like really pissed me off is when you're in like a turn-based combat system and they have like an attack that does increasing damage each time they use it. And so if they start using it, there's no way to get ahead of it.
Yeah. And
this was one of the first like boss fights that I ever did in anything that I like got so mad. And it probably took me more times to beat than anything ever. And this is also from Pokemon Crystal, which is the gym leader Whitney, who is on the surface not something that you feel like you should be afraid of, because she's a normal type Pokemon gym leader. And like it doesn't feel like it should be this huge thing, but her final Pokemon is a Miltank that uses Rollout, and Rollout, like, it hits you, and every single time that it uses it, the damage to you increases.
Yeah.
And so if you don't defeat it before it hits a certain point, it just one hit KOs you every single time, and you're done. And there's nothing you can do about it. And I was so like woefully unprepared, and I'm the kind of person I hate having to grind anything, which is why I always go with the strategy in Pokemon of level up my first Pokemon to an insane level and never worry about anybody else ever, and just hope that gets me through. And then when that fails, I'm like really screwed. And that one was one that it took me forever to be able to actually get a workable strategy, and I had to like go out and grind quite a bit in order to have like a party that could actually handle it. But it was that thing of like, once they got to a certain point with that attack, you were just done, because she would attack before you got the chance, and then you were just dead.
Gotcha. Yeah.
I have a love-hate relationship with grinding, because like it can be really rewarding. Like in Final Fantasy Tactics, it's rewarding to put in some time and level up your character and then have a battle be easier. But like now that I'm not a child, it can like really prevent you from playing a game, because like you don't have the time you used to have to do
and
all
believe
that.
me, that's been my one thing as I'm playing through Final Fantasy V. It's just like, well, I could grind for a few hours here and maybe get a level or two while I'm watching the Royals game. But do I want to do that? No.
Does it have a speed up?
It does have a speed, like you can do auto battle, which just like you hit the button, and I think this is on all the Pixel remasters. You just hit a button and it just auto fights for you. So it's not terrible, but it's certainly there are once you get to another world, like it just starts like there become just normal enemies out in the world that can like one or two shot you if you're not careful.
Everything Square Enix is on sale, by the way.
Ooh.
Right now. Like,
If you haven't picked it up, I would recommend picking up Final Fantasy 16 for sure.
I just did, actually.
Nice.
So I'm excited to dive into that. Very cool. Well, I'll look forward to that when I play Pokemon Crystal. So I know you said not specific boss fights, but like everything about the Warden fights, the Warden Eternal and Halo 5.
Oh, yeah. Halo 5 just that's all you had to say.
Yeah, those fights are so bad. They're so annoying and so just like weirdly unfair. It's probably my least favorite boss fight mechanic, existence, anything of any kind. Like I just couldn't believe that this made it into a game.
I can, because 343 was trying to do something different, but they did not achieve what they were going for. Or if they did achieve what they were going for, it was a bad idea.
It was different.
Yeah. That's being generous, but yeah.
I mean, I get that they wanted to do something different, but I feel like they mangled Halo with like the other popular FPSs of the time.
Again, like Halo as a series just didn't really have bosses. Like you had like gigantic, like, hey, I'm gonna ride around in a warthog and take down these like 3 ships, and then I'm gonna go get wherever I need to go. That's the boss fight, right? It's not
like strategy stuff.
Yeah,
like
it's
giant
not just
battles.
Like the few boss fights you have in Halo, like Halo 2, for example, you get that final boss fight against that brute, and it's just terrible. And like I don't know, it just boss fights in general in Halo do not pan out the way you think they will.
I the coolest parts in Halo is like when you're in like giant battles.
It's the emergent gameplay stuff. It's just like, hey, here's this little scenario. Let's see what the computer AI does, and let's see what I can manage to trick everything into doing.
Sketchy Ceviche,
yes.
Halo's best boss, punching the Prophet in the face.
Agreed.
Boom. All right, Jack, what's your next one? Potentially your last one.
Yeah, so my last one, excuse me. And this is there's some boss fights that do this well, but when it's super obvious and when it rears its head, especially in combination with my first one, do this thing three times, really drives me up the wall, and it's hit the weak point. So like either glaringly obvious, like red pulsating, nodule or tumor or something like that on a boss, or like a pulsating yellow sign or something, like hit this thing 3 times and you win, or like this is the only place you can hit this boss to make it hurt it. Like that really just, it's like, I don't know if I'd call it lazy, but it just like I don't want to fight bullet sponges. And I get that there's some skill, like especially if you've got a small gun and you're trying to hit a small target. Like, yeah, I get that. Like Resident Evil is really bad about this. especially Requiem is really bad, but 2, 4, any of them are really bad about that. But it's one of those things where it's been done so much that I do not like it at all. Like when it pops up, I'm just like, here we go.
So why don't you like Contra?
I do like Contra,
I'm just
but
kidding.
like that's at least like, it's not like a pulsating yellow spot. It's like
not undulating.
Well, it's undulating, but like, hey, it's a gigantic heart. Take this thing out. Like, or it's like, hey, here's this like big machine. Why don't you just take all the parts off of it before you fight the main thing? It's just not just like there's one big pulsating mass on this thing's back and you got to figure out a way to get behind it.
Yeah, like it grew its weakness on purpose. Yeah, no, I know what you mean. I just was being facetious. But all right, Jess, take us home.
Well, not necessarily a mechanic, but I can't stand it when like boss fights don't make narrative sense. And my number one example of this is Parthenax in Skyrim. I have yet to meet anyone who has willingly chosen and agreed to killing Parthenax. And if I ever do, I'm going to run the opposite direction. But you spend this entire game being like, this dragon is pretty cool. And then Delphine's like, now you need to go kill him. And it's like, no. What? We like him. What are you talking about? And she's like, well, all dragons are evil. And it's like, well, not. Like, no. Like, I've never met anyone that wasn't, like, deeply offended by the mere thought of it. And I was like, why is this not only included, but considered like one of the main storyline things that you should be doing? And it just drives me nuts when they're like, oh, well, wouldn't this be a cool boss fight? But they don't put any kind of consideration into whether or not narratively it makes sense or whether the player would actually want to do this thing.
Yeah. I feel you there too. So I think we all agree on the ones we don't like.
Yeah, I think so.
Pretty unanimous.
Mm-hmm.
Well, this was a lot of fun.
Can I do my bonus category real quick?
Sure.
All right.
Yes.
So
Don't want to leave you hanging.
Because I love it so much, Metal Gear, like you can't talk about bosses without talking about Metal Gear in my book anyway. So just real quick, we don't have to spend too much time on this, but my top 5 Metal Gear bosses: the end, the boss, Liquid Snake in Metal Gear Solid 2 or 1. I'm sorry, Metal Gear Solid 1, the fight on top of the Metal Gear, Revolver Ocelot / Liquid from Metal Gear 4. And Psycho Mantis. Like, give me any of those bosses against just about anything else, and that's a good solid round of bosses and a good solid cadre of bad guys.
Those are all great. My favorite from that list is on top of the Metal Gear. That was a pretty cool fight. That's pretty iconic.
It's a good one, but I mean, man, that Metal Gear Solid 4 final fight is just perfect.
Every time you say final fight,
I know,
I think
like
of
Mike Hagar.
Yeah.
Yep.
This was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed talking about our favorite bosses as well as the ones that were terrible, and going through it. So Jack, what have you been doing this week?
And honestly, I'm hoping to relax this weekend. It's been nonstop
What's
for me
that?
for like the last 8 weeks. I know, right? It's been just go. And so I'm hoping that this weekend I get a chance to just relax and sit down and maybe just take a deep breath and maybe play some more I will probably play some more Final Fantasy V. I might try to get back into Marathon a little bit. I've been playing a little bit of Marathon, and I gotta tell you, for an extraction shooter, it's fun. It's better than Arc Raiders.
I would love it to be good. I would really like it.
If you want it to be like, if you want it to tie into like old Marathon, like there's some stuff in there for you, for sure.
It makes me want to play it. Well, Jess, what about you? Are you gonna do anything fun?
Well, I'm gonna try. Tomorrow is my birthday. So I am trying to make some time to celebrate. Just the big one is 30. So
oh my god!
Trying to find, yeah.
Happy birthday! You hope you get to do something really good for it. I didn't realize it was 30. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. I've got quite the packed day of things. I've got a major pitch tomorrow, and I'm running from like 9 a.m. to probably 5. But hopefully we'll have some time afterwards to hang out with a couple friends, and I think we're gonna do a museum thing this weekend. So a little bit of celebration in the midst of all the chaos. So
nice.
Awesome.
Well, happy birthday.
Congratulations and happy birthday. You. That's really fabulous. Awesome. Well, I'm hoping to survive and then get through to when I can play some games. It's been like a Looney Tunes last few weeks. But I look forward to seeing you all same time next week on the game show.